couldn't profit. And in stretching for it, Byram's done himself some damage.
I felt it was like a popping feeling, and I think I've watched the video, but you can see me stretching it to think, well, that felt a bit weird.
Poor Sam Byram is feeling the hurt.
When I got in the changing room, it was, like severely painful. I think at that point I knew it was a bad one. And then even up until the scan, I knew it was bad, but I didn't think it would have been the severity it was. So basically, where the hamstring tendon had come away from where it was attached, they had to put a screw and reattach it. But down the line, I think it was 5-6 months down the line, I'd started to get pain around the area where the screw was, and we did another scan, and basically the screw had come loose and they'd developed a bit of, they called it bone edema, which basically the screw was wobbling around and it was creating sort of an inflammatory response in my leg. And it was an unstable screw, so we sort of as a team with the physios and everyone, the specialists, opted for re-surgery, to go in and put it right and maybe add another screw and make sure it was solid and back where it should be. After the second one, I had in my head, we can't do a third one because, what else are they going to do? They can't put more screws in. And the biggest challenge was, I'd seen multiple specialists, I'd had multiple injections to try and help with the pain I was getting. And I was having scans that, the scans were showing that it was healed, there wasn't any issues on a scan, but I was still getting chronic pain. I couldn't sprint, I couldn't run without being in pain. And all these specialists couldn't tell me why. We'd tried lots of different things that hadn't helped. So at that point was when, that was probably the hardest, that, I'm sort of exhausting all options and we're running out of people to speak to and things to try. The head physio here kept saying to me, look, it will get better. Everything heals with time. Obviously in the football sort of industry, you don't have unlimited amount of time. Your career is short and, I want to play as many games as I could. So I think mentally as well, it got to the point where, I didn't want to be around the training ground. People, obviously everyone wants to know how you're doing, but when you have 20 players and 20 staff every day asking how you are, out of obviously goodwill from them, but to me to keep telling people, no, it's not good, it gets to the point where, I ended up avoiding people, I didn't want to speak to people, I was probably quite reserved, so it was good for me mentally as well to have a break from the training ground and go and work with someone new in London with a hamstring specialist who, he helped a lot to get on top of my symptoms. I think it was around a 6-week block that I've worked with a specialist there. I've obviously had, a few tough injuries in the past, but they've all gone really smoothly. There's never been any setbacks and never any to the point where, I didn't know what was wrong and, how I could cure it. I think that's the hardest part, when you don't know what needs fixing, you kind of just taking it week by week and hoping something gets better. So I've definitely, it's been a tough battle mentally, but I've got a really good support network around me. The club have been unbelievable. They've been so supportive, from Stuart and the owners, the old manager, new manager, all the staff. I can't thank everyone enough, really. I was probably quite reserved through a lot of it, kept a lot to myself, which obviously probably didn't help me, but my partner Charlotte and my family, my brother, they were always there if I wanted to speak to them, or just they wanted to see me happy again, really. And I think that was the main thing for them, was to make sure that I was happy and still sort of enjoying it. It was after that extended spell in London, I'd come back and started training on the pitch, and obviously in the past I'd done a lot of sort of trying to get back on the pitch, so I knew what caused pain and what was stopping me. And when I'd come back and started on the pitch again and the pain had gone, relief's probably the biggest relief like you can imagine. It's to be at that point, it would have probably been 18 months without being able to run without pain, and I could then start to do sort of interval runs, like 3-4 minute runs consistently with no pain. It's just the biggest relief you can imagine. So that was the start, and then it was kind of a case of not getting too carried away and building up slowly, because obviously I still had a lot of work to do from that stage to being back into training and then into matches, and there's sort of a long process from there, but yeah, that was the start.
What an introduction this is for Sam Byram, who comes on for the first team for the first time since February 2020.
I probably didn't at the time have too much time to think about it. I wasn't expecting to come on, and especially in midfield. But I really enjoyed it. I was a lot more nervous than I thought I would have been. But I think given the length of time out and sort of the meaning behind every game, every game's important and we want to win points. So I just wanted to come in and do a job and not let anyone down. No worries about my leg. It's healed now, and it's been, I've trained for probably about 4 months now before playing matches. I'd played minutes in the under-23s as well, so it was more just nerves of performing and, like I say, not wanting to let the team down. But no, my leg's been fine, so I didn't have any worries about that. It's such a good group of lads, and I think they're as pleased as I am for me, because I know a lot of them will have seen how frustrated and upset and every emotion you can imagine that I've gone through, and them seeing me come off the pitch and struggling, I think they'll have seen a lot of that. So for them to see that I can train with a smile on my face again, I think they'll be just as happy as well. I'll train every day 110%. I'll give everything, and whatever position the manager might need me in, I'll be there and ready. People always say you can't get match fitness without playing matches, so it's that kind of catch-22, and like I say, it's the only way you can get fit, and to keep sort of getting games is my aim, and to keep building that fitness and getting back to where I was a couple of years ago.